Wesley Students family. Before we get started tonight with our Wesley Students online experience, I wanted to take a minute just to say congratulations to all of our seniors and our senior parents. I so enjoyed seeing everybody's videos and pictures of graduation over the last couple of days. I'm so proud of you guys for how you have handled a less than desirable kind of end of the senior year, and you've made the most of it and you've lived into it. And gosh, I'm just so grateful to you and to all of you for your support for student ministry and your involvement and your encouragement to me. And I really cannot wait to see what God does in and through your lives, and the way that He is going to use you. I think it's going to be incredible, and I can't wait to see what happens. I love you guys, all of our seniors. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. Let's get together soon, all right? Well, good evening, Wesley students. I'm so glad that you've chosen to be with us tonight for our online experience. We've got a great night planned. Our How-To series, week 2, continues. We have Carrie Hodge with us tonight doing an interview about basic finances and what you need to know about money. Also, we're going to hear from our new summer intern, Lainey Derry, who's going to share with us in just a little while. So sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight. We're going to have our Zoom breakout afterward where you can join me and we can unpack this message just a little bit. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight.
Three, two, one. Hey guys, my name's Lainey. If we haven't met on video, I'm the new summer intern. I hope we get to meet in person, but if not, this will do. I'm going to tell you a little embarrassing story about myself that will help you know what not to do. So, my junior year, during a soccer game, we were playing this team that was absolute trash. Like, they have lost to us since I was in 9th grade, probably before then. But this time we got a ref that really just made bad calls. And at first he just made a few bad calls and we let it slide. Then as it continued, my team did what any team would. And we just started letting him know how frustrated we were by saying rude things. So about the 6th call he had that was bad, we scored a goal and he said that it wasn't a goal. So all of us are doing our thing, yelling at the ref. I'm yelling at the ref, and I said, I didn't realize how close I was to him, but he was like right there. I said, if I knew we were playing the ref, I would have brought more team. Thought it was really creative, but now that I think of it, it really didn't even make sense. He heard me, he called my number out, and all I hear is 3, come here. So, I mean, I was scared. So I turned around and the ref's holding up a yellow card. I've never gotten a card before, so I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe I was given the card. Don't know, my brain was frustrated. So I started walking towards him to grab the card. He took that as attitude. He yelled at me and told me to get off the field, which was understandable. Like, I would be yelled at me too. I was being very rude. And as I was walking off the field, I was standing towards the line. I turned around, called the ref, and I said, thank you. And I took a little curtsy, very disrespectful, not my brightest moment. But the ref, instead of giving me a red card, which he easily should have done and probably should have done, he simply turned the other way and kept doing his job. I'm telling you this story to let you know that I let my emotions get the best of me, and that is not a good look, and it's very easy to let your emotions get the best of you, but the ref did what Jesus would have done, and he turned the other cheek and walked the other way. He let me continue to be rude to him, and he could have easily punished me, but he didn't. And I'm just want you to know, would you want to be the little girl with the attitude who's yelling at the ref, or would you want to be the ref who takes the attitude and turns the other way? So yeah, I have so many embarrassing stories like that that I'm gonna share with you. #regrets. So yeah, Have a great week, and I hope to meet you guys in person soon. Yeah.
So, Carrie, thank you so much for taking time to be here while we're in your home. So thank you so much for allowing me to come in and interview and ask you some questions about finances. So we're in this series called How To, and we're learning about how to do grown-up things before we grow up. So one of the things that I think sets us up to be a little bit more grown-up is the idea of managing money, our money and our finances. And the reason that we're here is because I'm going to ask you to give us some of the things that you think every teenager should have some basic knowledge around when it comes to money.
Sure.
Would you tell us a little bit about who you are and where you grew up and then what you do now so we can have a little bit of idea about where you're coming from?
I grew up here in Columbia County. I graduated from Lakeside. Go Panthers. I actually went to Wesley Church when it met at Lakeside Middle School before we had the nice buildings that we have now. Mm-hmm. It sucked going to church at the same place you went to school because you go to school all week.
Just let that sink in, teenagers, 6 days a week.
Yeah, it was not, when my parents made that decision, it wasn't the most popular one in our house, but I'm glad that Wesley ended up being our church home.
Yeah.
I graduated from the University of Georgia, go Dogs. I've been in the financial industry for 20 years now in banking, finance, some area of the financial sector. That's pretty much it.
So how, like, from a faith perspective, how do you kind of act out your faith, and how are you a faithful follower of Jesus in the finance industry?
I was really lucky growing up. My parents gave me a really good financial background, but they also gave me a really good faith background. One thing that I always heard growing up was, to whom much is given, much is expected. And I feel like I've been really blessed. Our family's been really blessed, and so I try and give that back. Whether it be helping people figure out how to save for retirement, or some people, their financial situation, they've gotten in over their head with things and they don't even know where to start in terms of how to get out. Doing financial education like this, I love doing classes with folks. I know a lot of people don't grow up in a household with a financial background, so I was really fortunate in that regard, and I just try and share my knowledge with whoever is out there.
At the most basic level, there are a couple of things, like a handful of things, that every teenager should probably understand about finance.
All right, basics, we've got checking accounts, we've got credit cards, we've got savings, and we've got here, nothing is free. And I wrote nothing is free in red because it's important. It's actually really important.
Really important.
So those are kind of the three big ones.
What do students need to know about a checking account, and maybe lead off with what is a checking account?
So think of a checking account as a digital penny bank, or piggy bank rather. Whereas when you're a kid, you shoved all your money in that piggy bank, and then when you needed it, you used that little plug in the bottom and got the money out, or you may have cracked it if you were impatient. Checking account, same thing. You put the money in, and then you've got either a debit card or a check that helps you get the money out.
And then what is this thing called a check? What is that?
So this is a check.
That is a check. There's a check. You don't just get one check, but you get a check book.
Yep, you get a check book. It looks like this. You need to keep it somewhere safe, like this is in our desk drawer.
Right.
This is my checkbook. I'm a weird person that still has one. This is a check. Most important thing about a checkbook is keep it somewhere safe.
Right.
Don't just leave it laying in your car or in your locker or whatever. You see, I keep it in my desk.
Got it. So if you're a student and you think to yourself, I want to begin to save my money or put it somewhere, what do you need to do to open up? Like, do you walk into a bank?
Well, first of all, to open an account on your own, you got to be 18. If you're younger than 18, you're going to need a signer on it, like one of your parents. If you want to open a checking account, a lot of times you can do it online, or you can go into a bank branch to do it. The first time you do it, I say go back into a branch because they can walk you through it. Okay, so if let's say I'm gonna spend money and I'm gonna write a check. This is how you write a check, all right? Here's the parts of your check. This is the check number. This is your info. This is who I'm paying. This down here is called a routing number, and your account number. This is how the bank knows to take the money out of your actual piggy bank. All right, so I'm writing Aaron a check. So I'm gonna put his name here. And today is, what is today? The 12th? I'll write you a check for $500.
Sweet.
Feeling generous.
Yeah.
Here, I gotta write out the amount. And I'm gonna say this is for Chick-fil-A. You bought me a lot of Chick-fil-A.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna sign it. All right, so that's how you write a check. I put these lines over here so that nobody else can add anything to it, right? I don't want somebody making my $500 check somehow making it $5,000.
Right.
Because then we'll get into that what if the money's not there thing. I also don't want somebody adding somebody else's name to it. So after I write your name, I put that line there. Sometimes I forget why I'm paying somebody back. It's also good to have a record, like if you're paying a service professional, like somebody came and fixed your roof and you're paying them for it, write down fix your roof. Let's say that I wrote you a check for $500 because you brought me a bunch of Chick-fil-A, and then you made me mad. So what am I gonna do? I don't want the check, I don't want you to be able to cash the check anymore, so I'm gonna write void. Once the check has void on it, means nobody can cash it.
Got it.
A lot of times if you're setting up a payment, like if you're setting up a payment for Georgia Power bill, when you're in your apartment in college or whatever and you got to pay a Georgia Power bill, they're going to want to link it directly to a checking account, right? Before they do that, they're going to want a voided check. This is how you void a check.
A lot of times too, I think with direct deposit, like when you get your first job and you don't want to get a paper check, they'll want to link directly into your checking account, so they'll ask for that same voided check.
If I wrote you a check for $500 and I don't really have $500 on that thing, I have right here, it says NSF bad. NSF in the banking world stands for insufficient funds.
Got it.
And what that means is not only is my check to you gonna bounce, which is gonna be embarrassing to me, because you're gonna think that I was gonna pay you $500 and that I'm not. The other thing that's gonna happen is the bank is gonna charge you something crazy like 35 bucks because you wrote a bad check. And it creates a whole lot of work for other people to try and track the money down.
Right.
So just because you have checks, it doesn't mean you've always got money. Just because you got a debit card doesn't mean you've always got money. You actually have to have money in there. Nice thing is, every bank that I know of has an app. You can check your balance constantly on your phone. There's no reason to be overdrawn or to have an NSF fee.
Okay, anything else about checking accounts that we need to cover?
Don't share your info. Identity theft is a huge deal. Your name is Leroy, or that your dog's name is Snuggles or whatever, because a lot of times you'll use that as a password and then people will be able to hack into your account. So even though it seems harmless, a lot of that stuff is not. So that kind of goes back to the nothing is free. Just be careful what you're posting online. Always make strong passwords.
So when you talk about a checking account and a savings account, what is the difference at its most basic level? What's a savings account? So
savings account is money that you keep kind of for a rainy day. You keep it in case there's an emergency. Keep it in case we have COVID-19. A lot of people aren't working. You got to have emergency funds. That's what a savings account is there for. You can also use it to save up for a big purchase. Like if you want to save up for a new iPhone, or if you want to save up for down payment on a car, or if you need to save it for book money for next semester. Those are all good ways to use a savings account. A checking account is like your day-to-day spending. A savings account is what you try and build up a bunch of money in, and then you use it for purchases along the way.
So in a savings account, can you take money in and out and in and out and in and out?
No, there's limits on how frequently you can put money in and out. If you're going to take money in and out and in and out and in and out, that's a checking account.
Okay.
Savings account is kind of put it over here and forget about it until you need it for something.
Got it. Okay, so is there an age limit for a savings account? Is there, like, if you're 12 or 13, is that a good time to maybe open a savings account, like birthday money and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can open a savings account anytime. Like I said, if you're under 18, you're gonna have to have a parent on it. But if you've got a couple $100 sitting in a piggy bank in your closet, it's probably not a good place to have it. Stuff happens. Go to the bank, open a savings account. It's real easy to get your money out. I mean, once it's there, it's your money.
Right.
It's just in a digital form, like I said, instead of sitting in your closet.
How about credit cards?
All right, so checking accounts and savings accounts, that's your money. Credit cards, that's somebody else's money. And to get to somebody else's money, they're gonna let you borrow it, but you have to pay them back. And when you pay them back, you've got to pay them back with interest. Interest is basically the amount that you have to pay for the right to borrow that money. Say I need to borrow $1,000 because my car broke and I don't have a savings account. If I go to borrow that money, if I put it on a credit card, I'm gonna have to pay somebody for the privilege of using their money. Because they're lending their money. And they're taking a risk, right? Because they don't know for sure that I'm gonna pay them back. Problem with that is a lot of times they charge you a really high interest rate. So it's a whole lot easier to save up your money as time goes on versus having to pay to use somebody else's money.
Got it. So when you see commercials and they have this little number that's got a % sign next to it, that is the rate that people are charging you to borrow their money.
Yep. But they're not going to focus on that, right?
Got it.
Because they don't want you to know how expensive it is to borrow their money, because that's how they make money.
Got it.
So the problem is that the money can add up really fast. So on that $1,000 that I borrowed, by the time I get my first bill, I'm actually gonna owe them maybe $1,050. And then by the next bill, I'm gonna owe them $1,000 and $200, and it grows really, really fast. So if you get behind, it's really hard to pay folks back.
Got it. So there's a lot of different opinions about credit cards. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Some of the opinions that people have about them.
So I have credit cards. We have credit cards. They're good for some reasons. Like if you're buying something online, it's good to do it with a credit card rather than with a debit card, because that credit card is linked to somebody else's money. So if there's fraud, it's somebody else's money and not your money. The problem is where people go crazy with a credit card and they think that because it's not their money and it gets really easy every time you swipe a credit card, you don't think about having to pay it back, and it adds up really quick. So our rule is we try and use credit cards only for emergencies, and we try and pay our credit cards off at the end of every month. Some people say, you have 5 or 6 credit cards. You know, if you go to Big Lots or Macy's or wherever you go, they're gonna say, you wanna open a credit card, you can save 10%. Okay, problem is, they're gonna charge you more than 10% to lend you that money. And that doesn't make any sense. So they're gonna charge me probably close to 20% to use their money, and I'm only saving 10%.
Right.
I'd be better off just paying for it with my checking account to begin with.
Right. And then there are some people who believe or who don't use credit cards at all.
Yep.
And is that bad?
No.
Okay.
It's kind of a personal preference thing. I like having a credit card. Like I said, in case of emergency, I would say, me personally, having a credit card is safer than walking around with $1,000 in my pocket. 1, I don't want to get mugged. 2, I lose things. I'm gonna be really mad if I lose $1,000 cash. It's a whole lot harder for me to lose a credit card. But you do have to protect the credit card just like you do your checking account stuff.
Do you need to have a credit card in order to do life?
You don't have to. Might make it easier, like I said, because you don't have to remember to have cash and stuff like that. But a lot of the same things that can be accomplished with a credit card, you can accomplish with a debit card. Just linked to your checking account. Like I said, credit card, at least for us, is more for big purchases. It's for emergencies, but we always try and pay it off at the end of the month.
Should you get a credit card for the points or the perks?
Don't get it just for the points or the perks. If you're gonna get a credit card, maybe get one that goes along with something that you use anyway, right? So like our family, we have a credit card. Ours is an Amazon credit card. I order off Amazon. We all do. So we get like 5% cash back every time we use the Amazon card on Amazon. I'm not gonna get a credit card just because of the Amazon rewards.
Right.
But if I'm gonna have a credit card anyway, it doesn't hurt my feelings to get some perks off of it.
Got it. Anything else about credit cards that you think maybe we want to cover?
Don't get suckered into one. Sometimes people can be really pushy. You know, their job's to sell you a credit card. That's how they make money. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing for you. So that's what I would say.
Got it. So a lot of times, who's that?
I have no idea. Who this dude is? It's kind of weird looking.
Hey, how you doing? I got these free T-shirts for you, but I need you to sign up for something for me. Can you do that for me?
Well, what am I signing up for?
It's just some credit card thing. You don't need to worry about it. It's a free T-shirt for you though.
Well, how's it free?
It's free. All you got to do is sign up for this credit card right here. That's all you need.
Well, I don't like that one. Do I have to get the blue one, or can
No.
you give me a
You
different
can
one?
choose any of them. Look, I got this blue one with the red outline of Georgia on it. Look, you can look at right
I
there.
really like that one.
I got this white one right here. If
That
you
one's
want
got a
that.
hole in it, dude. I don't want a holy T-shirt.
I got this gray one. This is I think you'll like that one.
Oh, it's a Wesley student shirt. I do like that
It's
one.
a great shirt. Yeah, it's all free. I just need your.
Well, what is that thing that says 16.9%?
Oh, you don't need to worry about that. It's all good. Just pretend it's not even there.
And I don't know. Somebody earlier told me that nothing's free, and you're
Really?
saying, yeah, you're saying it's free. I
It's
don't get-
completely free.
I don't know you, man. And you're pitching this like it's free. I just don't. I'm gonna pass today.
All right, I guess I gotta respect your decision, but it's free, one last chance.
I'm gonna pass. Thanks,
All right.
man.
All right, sounds good.
So, what just happened?
So that guy is getting paid to try and get me a sign up for a credit card.
Well, let's be clear, he wasn't really getting paid, but people like
Well,
him.
no, but people like him. Yeah, he's not getting paid. He gets no. People like him get paid to sign you up for a credit card, and their whole goal is to sign up as many people as possible. And they're going to give you something free. They're going to give you a T-shirt. They're going to give you a Starbucks
Wait,
card.
you said free.
Yeah, well, it's not really free.
Nothing is free.
That 16.99% APR on the bottom that he said didn't matter, it actually means something. So when I do stuff like this, we always have a trivia question. First person to email Aaron with the correct answer of what APR stands for, $10. He gets it to you somehow.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so it's not free. What happens is, if I had signed up for the credit card, they would have decided that they might have given me a $10,000 limit. That sounds awesome, right? Like, whew, I got $10,000.
I could spend $10,000.
Yes. I could go on vacation.
Right.
I could buy some new clothes. I could soup up the stereo system in my car. I could do a lot of stuff. Problem is, I got to pay it back, and odds are I'm not going to be able to pay back $10,000 like that.
Right.
Which means it's gonna compound interest, which is what you were talking about earlier. So when I have to pay the credit card company back, I don't just owe them $10,000. Now I'm gonna owe them closer to $12,000. And that kind of sucks, right?
Right.
It would be much easier for me to save my money and spend my own money
Right.
than borrow it from somebody else and pay them almost 20% to use their money.
So the people who sometimes get caught in these credit card offerings, where do these types of things happen? Because I think there's certain times and certain demographics, right, that credit card companies are looking for.
Yeah, they well, I got caught while I was in college, right? So here I am, I'm a finance person. I shouldn't have got caught, but I did. And not only did I get caught once, I got caught a lot. So they had these at Georgia. They had these tables, and they would set them up at the student center, and they had free T-shirts. Well, you don't want a free T-shirt, right? And they always had something to do with Georgia or whatever. And I'd get one if it was a cool T-shirt, or I'd get one if I needed a clean T-shirt to go to the gym,
Right.
whatever. So I never actually spent any of the money on the credit card, but I got all these T-shirts and I gave them all my information all these times. So when I graduated from college and I needed to start doing adult things like getting my own cell phone and paying my own car insurance and stuff like that, I went to the cell phone store and they said, well, we can't give you a cell phone because you got bad credit. I'm like, how do I have bad credit? I don't owe anybody anything. And they said, well, you got $25,000 worth of outstanding credit. I'm like, how the heck? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, it's because I'd signed up for all those stinking free T-shirts.
Right.
And every time I signed up for a free T-shirt, the credit card company dinged me.
Yeah.
So then I had to go through the mess of closing down all those credit cards. Then I had to wait a while for my credit to improve, and then I could actually go to the cell phone store, get a phone on decent credit.
Where could you go if you're a teenager and if you're a student and you have questions about money? Where might be some places or people that you could go and talk to?
There's a ton of resources online. Just be careful on anybody that wants you to pay a fee for their service. Stay away from. There's a ton of free information online about money matters. Look at Dave Ramsey. He's got a really good program to learn about money management. There's another good book, it's called Millionaire Next Door. Talks about how by making small decisions, you can actually have a really big impact on your life or on somebody else's life.
Right.
You can always reach out to me or somebody like me with any questions you have. Your local bank is a good resource. You know, that's what they're here for. Part of what banks are mandated to do is financial education. So that's a resource, it's free.
Wait, so they're part of their job is to educate people on money.
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. If you gotta, if you take any kind of track at school that's related to business or finance or anything like that, ask one of your teachers.
Right.
There's a ton of resources out there. But the biggest thing to remember, nothing is free. It's always your money, but nothing's gonna be free. And if somebody says it's free, there's always gonna be a catch.
Got it.
There's either gonna be a rate on that credit card or, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. They say it's free, it's not, because your information is the cost of it.
Right.
They're using, every time you log on to Spotify, they're checking to see what songs you're listening to. Then they figure those songs out and figure out what ads to play for you. So nothing, it doesn't matter if probably the only thing that's ever free is like when you get a free coupon for a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it's actually free.
The one thing that I would say is ask questions. Ask questions. If you don't understand something, whether you're 12 or you're 16 or you're 18 or older than that, make sure that you ask questions because it is your money. And it's your money that you're stewarding. Actually, everything's God's money, but God just gives it to us to manage. But we want to do that to the best of our knowledge and the best of our ability. So that means to educate yourself, ask a ton of questions when you don't understand something, and you don't have to do anything that you're really uncomfortable with.
Don't be afraid to say no. Like the credit card people, they can be really pushy. Like that guy, he would want me to get a credit card, and he wanted to give me a free T-shirt.
Right.
It ain't free. I'm never gonna. Well, I'm gonna see that guy again. So I really wouldn't. But the guy on the street, I'm not gonna see again, right? So it doesn't matter if I tell him no.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Carrie, for.
We got one more thing.
Okay.
We got disclaimers.
Oh, that's right.
We
That's
can't have
right.
a video without disclaimers.
That's right. That's right.
All right. This is my opinion. It's not the opinion of my employer. It's very important I say that.
That's right.
Talk to your parents about this stuff. This is my opinion. It may not be their opinion. I don't want to ever contradict anything your parents say. Read the fine print. That goes back to, again, nothing is free.
Right.
So.
So after this video, we're gonna have some time for you to unpack a little bit about what we talked about, what Carrie and I talked about right here, and then there's gonna be a conversation guide for you and your parents to work through together, where they're going to hopefully talk to you about and answer some questions that you might have about money and finances. So Carrie, thank you so much for taking the time.
Awesome, thanks for having us.
Super appreciate it.
It's cool,
All right.
thank you.
Hey students, thanks so much for joining us tonight for our Wesley Students Online Experience. I just want to remind you to make sure that you follow our Instagram right here, and then check out our YouTube channel up here so you can get updated information and content. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you next Sunday.